Final part 2 involves Google Sheets. I'm going to work with some data and make some charts. I'll show you a couple of things in this movie, enough to get you going. You can, if you're doing this from home, you can email me with questions or problems if you run into problems. So let's take a look. There's a file posted on Google Classroom that you can open up. You'll click the link for the file and it will make a copy for you. It's final part 2, so look for that. On every sheet, you will have to select the part of the sheet that has the data and format it at least a little bit, change some font color, fill color, alignment, border color, do some formatting on the data itself. The other thing you have to do on each one of these, and there are 3 of them, I'll show you here in just a minute. The other thing you have to do is you have to build a chart. The kind of chart is indicated at the top left of every sheet, so pay attention to that. You're going to have to customize it a little bit. Over on the right-hand side, when you're working on a chart, you click Customize. For every chart that you build, you have to have a chart title. And then for every chart that you build, you have to format something. You can change fonts, data labels, colors. You can customize it however you feel like you would like to, but you have to customize something. You could, an option that's not required, you could click on the 3-dot menu at the top right of the chart and move it to its own sheet. That's up to you. The file that will be posted for you on Google Classroom looks like this. There are 3 tabs down at the bottom. This one's called Mints. The first one, it's about mints consumed in Area 1027, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and has numbers there. Those are totally made up. I didn't really count. At the bottom, if you click on the Budget tab, it says create a pie chart using the data below, and this is like a budget. This is money spent on different items like food, $500, clothing, $200, heat, $100, and gummy bears, $2,300, because of course gummy bears are the most important item on the budget. Scores down here on the tab at the bottom, set up like a grade book. Tommy, Sally, Johnny, and Millie. Test 1, Test 2, Test 3, Test 4, Test 5. You have to create a line chart using this data. And I'm not going to create all of these charts in this movie. I will show you what it's going to look like, sort of, when you're done. Your charts will probably look different than mine because you'll pick different colors and different options and things like that. But notice that the data, this is on the Mints tab. This is one that's already done. I've switched over to one that's already done. On the Mints tab, the data is formatted. There's some fill color involved there. I didn't format it a ton, but you don't have to. And here is the chart that I built for the Mints data. It's a bar chart. Title at the top, I did some customizing. On the Budget tab, I formatted the data a bit. Up at the top, you don't have to do a lot, but you do have to format it some. And here is the chart that I built. Title at the top, some customizations involved in there with fonts and things. And on the Scores tab, I formatted the data a bit. And here is the chart that I built. It's a line chart. Things like colors have been customized. Has a title at the top. That's what we're after. That's what we're shooting for. So let's go back to the one that is not done yet. I just want to remind you about a couple of things. Remember that you have to do 3 of them. Do not do one. Don't do the Mints chart and then think that you're done, because you're not. Down here at the bottom left, it's Mints, Budget, and Scores. There are 3 different tabs, and you have to build 3 different charts. Remember to pay attention to the top left on every one. Up here in row 1, this says create a column or bar chart. On the Budget tab, it says create a pie chart. On the Scores tab, it says create a line chart. So you need to pay attention to the kind of chart that you are creating. If you give me a pie chart when it says bar chart, you won't get credit for that. You have to follow the directions. All right, so let's just review a couple of things. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Formatting. To format something, you have to select it. And you could come up here and use the fill bucket. You could change the text color. You could change the font. You can change the size of the font. There are tons of ways that you can format it. I do want to remind you that you can go on Google Sheets. You can go to Format, Alternating Colors. Way over on the right-hand side, there's going to be some color suggestions here, and you can use these. I mean, that'll do it. The formatting doesn't have to be a ton. That will work right there. That would be enough. Now when it comes to building the chart, select the data. You must select the data. I'm clicking here where it says Monday. That's in cell B7 and dragging all the way to F8. Select Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all of the numbers. So you select all of that. There's a lot of ways you could do this, but I'm going to go to Insert. I'm going to go to Chart. And this one says it has to be a bar or a column chart. Now, this is one of those cases where Google Sheets guessed pretty well. This is a column chart that popped on here. But way over here on the right-hand side, you can choose column or bar, whichever you would prefer. I'm going to switch it to bar. Then you have to customize. So you go over to the right of that, and one of the things it has to have is a title. So you look for where it says Chart and Axis Titles, and you give it a chart title. This would say something like Mince or Mince Eaten, something like that. I'm not going to do it. You do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm just showing you where it is. Then you have to customize at least one more thing. And it could be anything. It could be the background color here on Chart Style. You've got background color. Let me pull this over if I can. Can I pull this over? Come on over. And I'll double click it. All right, customize. So like on Chart, you could change the background color. You could give it a border. You could change it to 3D. Ooh, look, I just showed you how to do that. So you could change the chart style. You have to have a chart title. And you could do any of the rest of these things. You could change the on series. You could change the color of the bar. You could change, add a legend, work with horizontal axis, vertical axis. You could customize it any way you want. You must have a chart title. When you get all done with it, if you wish, I'm going to move it back over here, you could click the three-dot menu at the top and say Move to Own Sheet if you would like, but you don't have to. So what I've tried to do here is just remind you a little bit about how to format some data. That's easy. Just use text colors, fill bucket, border styles, change a font, whatever. And then you have to have the data selected, and you go to Insert, Chart, and you make sure you get the right kind of chart. Then it has to have a title, and you have to customize it a little bit. Do remember that on the second tab, on the Budget tab, it has to be a pie chart. On the third tab, on the Scores tab, it has to be a line chart. And you can change the type of the chart over on the right-hand side when you're working with the chart panel. That's all I'm going to show you in this movie, and if you run into trouble, you can send me an email or ask me a question. But that's it for right now, so off you go.